to open the scoring. As continue to see the highlights was the Anthonian defense versus the Peter Wright pack, as they played brilliantly throughout the first half, and this was the first try scored by Randhira Pereira. All started with that quick tap from skipper Omita Dasanayake. St. Peter's then, after conceding, came back brilliantly into the game, especially dominated by their forwards, as Vishenka Silva opened up the scoring after collecting a goal line dropout and going past 4-5 Anthonian defenders. And then Rajita Gion brought play into the middle, and then we saw the big Ashrat Farooq with the help of Shenuka Pereira scoring for the Peter Wrights, and Rajita Leon adding that 2 points, so 12 points to 5, all to play for 7-point lead. Conditions continue to become worse as the rain continues, so this muddy affair will continue into the second half with a 7-point gap.
Well, plenty of decision-making errors have let the Antonians down in the opening half, especially that goal line dropout, which Deshan Lienage went for when their players were not ready, and that resulted in Vishenka Silva going over to score. But nevertheless, we still have 35 minutes to play, just a 7-point gap. Both teams will be looking to start off proceedings well here. St. Anthony's have seen what the Pete Wright forwards can do, and the question was whether the Pete Wright forwards can rise up to the occasion, and they certainly have, as Vishenka Silva kicks off proceedings in the second half.
St. Anthony is collecting it and goes into contact straight away as the rain continues to pour down here at Nithavala. Slightly higher as Shenuka Pereira fumbles it, knocked back, says the referee, and Vishenka Silva being tackled brilliantly as Jamal look for options as Pramukha Aditya takes the ball into contact. Now the Peter Wrights slowly making progress. The ball with them. Now the big forwards joining in the party for the Bomber Brigade. And the plan looks same as the first half. Looking to play with the forwards as referee calling that ball forward from Talish Soisa to Revon Pereira there. And finally, good piece of defensive work, reaping rewards for the Anthonians.
Excellent work that was from Vimukti Kodikar. He made that all-important tackle, and that resulted in Peter Wrights losing the ball forward. It is a scrum now for St. Anthony's inside that 40-meter mark. Omita Disanayake, the skipper. Here's Disanayake, collects the ball out of scrum, passes it to Lienage, to Lakmina. Lakmina goes for that pass into Randhira Pereira. Play still goes on. Lakmina chases it down.
Has St. Peter's taken the ball over the line? Or referee will go back to that knock forward. St. Peter's opting to intercept that pass from the Anthonians. And referee Yatavara saying that the first knock on came from the Anthonians. And then St. Peter's wanted to intercept it. Good passage of play by the Pete Wright scrum half, looking for that intercept. Now the first scrum for the Peter Wrights in the second half. Now Jamal sends it to Jaivira. Jaivira goes to his boot. Puts a high hanging kick and chases. He's good from the Peterites. Vishenka Silva and Mantush making the chase for the Peterites. And now Anthonians giving away a penalty as skipper Disanayaka takes a quick tap and brings play near the half mark. Now with numbers, Anthonians quick ball out to Gunawardana. Gunawardana back to strike scorer Randira Pereira. Randira Pereira gets the gap but brought down inches short of the try line, and St. Peter's putting a brilliant counter-attack, but Anthonians securing the ball.
Get back! Get back!
Now the Peterite defense is under threat. Has Zevane Kanayaka been taken back?
Get back!
Good passage of play from Peters going very low.
No, you off the feet.
Shanuka Pereira there. Now sending it to Lienege, but unfortunately Lienege couldn't collect it. Now Jamal takes a quick tap and Vishenka Silva puts the ball out in full, but number 10 for Anthonians was deemed offside.
Well, this was when Randira couldn't release that ball, and Randira could have released the ball when he was running as well a lot earlier. He had a man on the outside, but he opted to go on his own. But nevertheless, now St. Peter's have a penalty, and Vishenka Silva will be looking to gain some good meters, take play back.
Yatavara wants to check Deshan Lienege. He says he's okay to go, but referee doing what's correct and asking the matchday doctor to do HIE on the pitch. And doing that concussion tests there for Deshan Lienege. Doing it by the matchday ref doctor, and he clears. So all good for Deshan Lienege to continue.
Deshan is an important component of this Antonian lineup, as Vishenka Silva will put this ball out. And his kick takes play into the Antonian half.
Offside. Numbers kya nikali?
Good kick.
Offside de manage karega.
Near the 45-meter mark now for the Peterites. The line out was good.
Right. Number 1. Mangwada team briefing ekedi kiwwa mara numbers on kiyala. Number 1. Numbers calling kiyan poda in mukut kiyanne ba. Numbers calling kiyan fair wenna one. Nෑ කවුද කෝල් කරන්නේ? Numbers calling kiyan.
Shanuka Pereira. Brilliant work by the Anthonians there. But St. Peter's gains 5 meters more. And again, Shanuka now this time goes to the first part. Not 5 has the referee has blown the whistle, and he'll have a chat with his assistant referee. Not going the 5 meters is the call.
Good break. This is for the Antonians as Omita Disanayaka takes the ball, puts the ball into boot, chips it over, but falls straight into the Peterite, and St. Peter's back in the Antonian half.
That's necessary Mantush. Now Jaivira sending it to Silva. Now to Rajitha Leon, and he's fumbled into touched. Few words from the Antonians also. So the game is heating up here at Nittamala. St. Peter's would like some points on the board to keep that close score or distance. But the Antonians are giving up a good fight, Kevin, and so promises to be a good encounter.
Still plenty of time left in the game. Just 7 points the lead, and the line out throw from Avan Ekanayaka is good. St. Anthony's finds a way to keep possession with them. And Avan Ekanayaka now to Vimukti, to Randir, to Lakmina. Lakmina has a man on the outside. Here's Hussein. Hussein goes past one and he has been brought down. As Lakmina collects the ball out of ruck. And Avan Ekanayaka now has the ball in his hands as St. Anthony's looks to find a way to get into the Pete right half as Deshan Lienage puts the ball to boot. Nobody will chase it down.
Mijavira slips during the kick, but takes his team out of the 22-meter. St. Anthony is gaining territory with that kick. It's been the home team who have played some good rugby in these 8 minutes or so, putting the pressure on the Peterites. Been doing a lot of defensive work in the second half. Ekanayaka looking to throw in a very crucial line out. St. Peter's gets the ball through Pereira. An advantage for the Peterites also as Revon Pereira continues his run. Now Janithu Ratnaik continues to make an attack as Talisa Soisa. Now Jamal asking his forwards to continue as Nimsara tries to spark something, but he jumped into that tackle is the call. Now Disanaika tries to get the quick tap and he does it, tries to find the Peterites. Thumping tackle there by the number 2, but good work by Antonian spreading the ball 3 against 2 and unfortunately knocks the ball over. Just had to pass it, Kevin. They had a lot of options. And the moment you need to make that correct pass, Antonians gives the ball away.
This is the second time that the Antonians have given the ball away from similar positions. That was Hussein. Should have at least tried to hold on to that ball as St. Peter's will now have a defensive scrum coming their way. This is where the Antonians will be tested. So will the Peterite defense. They have created chances, the Antonian attackers, in this second half, but they just couldn't find those final touches as the Peterite number 21, the replacement Jamal Wahab, feeds the ball in as Vishenka Silva kicks the ball out. Will be a line out throw for the Antonians just inside that 22-meter mark. Yet another opportunity for them. Avan Ekanayaka has a big task in his hands. And the Antonians have had most of the lineouts in this game compared to the Peterites. Here's Avan with the lineout through. The throw seems to be overcooked. And St. Peter's have possession back.
So the line-out was continue to happen for St. Anthony's. Second line-out in a row, attacking line-out. But unfortunately, cannot secure it. We saw how crucial the line-outs were in that Mahanama Isipatana game. Mahanama struggled with the line-outs. They played a brilliant game against Isipatana. But unfortunately, that set piece, which is crucial.
Stop.
Not went correctly for them, as now St. Peter's tries to run as Vishenka Silva sends the ball to Netushan Mantush. Now Jamal Wahab back to Emit Jaivir. Emit goes on his own. Now the forwards continue their pick and drives.
Offside. Number 3.
Now the Peterites milk the penalty from the Antonians. And now they make their move. Jamal Wahab collects the ball. And St. Anthony's gives away another penalty. Hands on the ground. It's on the ruck. Clear instructions from referee Atavar. Now St. Peter's from defending a line out inside the 22-meter has a penalty as Vishenka Silva puts the ball into touch, brings play near the 22-meter.
Numbers kya hai? Full.
Crucial lineup for the Peterites. Shanupa Pereira also didn't have the correct way. 2 previous attempts, and now this time also not heard the referee's whistle. Not straight is the call. Lot of things happening here at Nittawala.
Captain.
Straight away referee calling the captains.
Captain. Scrum line out.
And now the Antonius keeper has the option of the line out or the scrum. And he goes to the scrum. St. Peter's and St. Anthony's, both teams have struggled in the line out aspect in the second half. St. Peter's losing 3 line outs and Antonians 2. So with this wet ball and the windy conditions have made that aspect of the game very hard to escape in this game.
Omita Disanayaka will feed the ball in. Collects it out. Gives it to Deshan Lienage to Vimukti Kodikara. Kodikara has been brought down. Line offside, says the referee. Kihani Adavara, quickly taken by Omita Disanayaka. He's on the move. As Ravindu Gregory collects the ball out from the ruck. And St. Anthony still inside their own half, inside that 40-meter mark. Deshan Lienage now puts the ball to boot. A high-hanging kick. Falls behind Vishenka Silva. Vishenka is chasing it down. Did he get a touch onto that ball? Seems like he hasn't. And this time the ball falls into the hands of Randir Pereira. He scored the first try for the Antonians. St. Anthony's now just a few meters outside of that 22-meter mark. Here's the Avan Nekanayaka. Going past 1, going past 2. And Omita Disanayaka collects the ball. Deshan Lienage, Vimukti Kodikara. Brilliant tackle. And we will go back to the previous penalty. As Omita Disanayaka,
Off the feet.
does he go for the 3-pointer? Does he go for touch? He asked the bench. And he will go for 3 points. Good decision. 20 minutes to be played. Cut that deficit down. Narrow the gap. And apply pressure. And Kalpa Lakmina couldn't connect the first kick. The conversion, he missed it. But this time, an easier angle, but the distance is much far away from what it was before.
And he has the wind on his back also. And St. Peter's leaking few penalties and allowing the Antonians to have a kick at points. Kalpalakmin, second kick of the game. First one went astray. And he will try to add the 3 points. He just at the 3 points, Kapalakmina. And Anthonians cut down the deficit to 4 points.
Take the 3-pointers in a close game like this. These are the points that will matter at the end of the game. It's 12 points to 8. Still St. Peter's with the lead. But St. Anthony's have narrowed the gap as Vishenka Silva's kick wasn't the best of kicks. And St. Anthony's have possession. Omita Disanayaka to Avan Ekanayaka. Avan tries to barge through the Pete Wright defense. Deshan Dinaga will now bring the kick. And his kick yet again falls back of the Pete Wright number 8. There is a chase on, but he will probably call for a mark, but instead goes and passes the ball to Vishenka Silva. St. Anthony's with the territory advantage, but still Pete Wright's with possession. This is a good passage of play for the Antonians. They can apply pressure here.
Peter Wright's inside the own red zone continues to play the patient game, trying to leak a penalty. Now Ratnayaka again. Now Jamal to Vishenka Silva. Puts the kick into touch. Few meters away from that 40-meter mark. Another line out for St. Anthony's as the wind picks up Ratnitawala. Peter Wrights have made few changes. Vihan Rushit gone out and brought in Senuddin Sar. This is take a perfect player of the match against Anand. Will look to make an impact in this game in the wing position.
Lineouts hasn't been the best of suits for both the sides, but this time it is good. But Lakmina, I beg your pardon, there was the skipper Umita Disanayaka who knocks the ball forward, and St. Peter's have possession now. And the big forward is carrying the Antonian defense with him.
A brilliant work by Revon Pereira there. And now the try scorer, Ashraf Farooq. Now Jamal goes to Jaivir with his boot, with Rushit Leon making that run for the Peter Wrights. Now Jamal wants quick ball out. Now to Mantusa to Silva. Silva does not pass, goes into contact. Now Jamal giving quick ball out to Janut Ratnayaka.
Get back.
Now Revon Pereira. Standout play in this game, turns and gets some space, still goes Pereira, not held in the tackle, play on says the referee. Now few meters away.
Get back.
Jamal wants the ball out. Now Jaivir to Vishenka Silva, he goes for his second Amana back try. St. Peter's comes back with another Amana back try to extend the lead for Ratnitawala.
Just when the Antonians thought that they are back in the game, Vishenka Silva, the skipper, goes over to score his second try. He was a highest point scorer in the previous season, and he has responded well in this game as well with two tries. It's 17 points to 8 in favor of St. Peter's with a conversion to come. If this goes through, it will be 11-point lead for St. Peter's. Will be hard work for the Antonians to catch up from there onwards.
Radhita Jiran with the kicking, curves it away, but unfortunately does not have the distance. So score will remain at 17 points. And now the Peter Wrights lead by 9 points. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Antonians open the scoring in the second half with a penalty, and the Peter has responded with a try. So all to play for in the last 15 minutes of play.
Antonians have to respond quick here. If not, the game will run away from their hands, and this is the try. Vishenka Silva going over for the second time.
හරි හරි දැන් හරි
Lianagi with the restart kick. Puts it deep. Collected well by the Peterite. And they return the favor with the kick. And the ball goes out of play.
Javir sending the ball out, and now Peterites has to put the pressure on the Antonians. From the Antonians' perspective, it's very crucial that Ekenaika gets this line out. And St. Peter's looks like not competing for this line out. Looking for that through, as now Disanaika sends to Lianage to Pereira. And Antonians continue to attack with the Inshaf Hussain. Disanaika still going for the shorter side. St. Peter's forwards putting the body on the line with defensive work, but gives away a penalty.
off the feet
Off feet, that happens in these muddy conditions here at Nittawala.
This time the Antonians opting to go for touch. Deshan Lianage takes play inside that 22-meter mark. St. Anthony's now have to build a solid attack here. They have to score here if they are to apply pressure on the Peterites in this final 12 minutes of the game. Not a lot of time left. They have to respond quick. The Eagles.
Very important. Ekenaika gets this line out sorted. St. Peter's have moved away from contesting the lineouts, but good pressure on the rolling maul. One says the referee. Now Disanaika spots some space in the Peterites defense, puts the back of the hand pass, and Lianage tries to go on his own, few meters away from the try line. Now to Karpalakmina, shows and goes, but brilliant work from the Peterites there. And referee stopping the game and asking the players to move away from the player, spotting a head injury there. See, St. Peter's player Silva there, Vishenka Silva. And referee will having head injury assessment, and he looks not good at the moment, Kevin.
Nasty blow that was. He went straight into that ruck, got his head knocked.
Yes, referee Atavara said in that conversation that his actions was the reason for this, that the players straight away giving a blue card. That means gone for 3 weeks, Kevin. So that's not good news for the Antonians, but after the doctor's recommendation, he has to go out.
Unfortunate for the young lad. He would have wanted to complete this game, get his side over the line. But anyhow, St. Peter's have possession back as Vishenka Silva has the ball in his hands. And he will put this out.
Slowly moves away from the red zone. But that was brilliant defensive work from Vishenka Silva. The Antonians quickly need to score. Now Pereira gets the line out sorted this time around. Good collection there by Lakidurana Singh. And the Peterites continue to move ahead using this rolling maul. Antonians are backpedaling at the moment. Once is the referee, so Jamal has to go to his back, says Emit Ratna Javir spots some gap, but Skipper Disanayake for the Antonians, putting on that kick. Looks like a high tackle for the Peterites there. And the referee will blow for that high tackle. St. Peter's, on the other hand, will look to add another one try so that they can take that bonus point home. That will become vital when you move on to the next rounds.
This was that high tackle which came in from the skipper Omita Disanayake as St. Peter's now have a line out through just outside of that 50-meter mark.
Antonians bringing some changes. Ravindra Gregory goes out.
Number 6.
And Chandira Garpitage also goes out. Number 19, Tarusha Karuna Ratna comes in.
The line out through is good from St. Peter's, and they have formed the move all yet again. They are driving inside that 50-meter mark. The Peterite forwards have been brilliant, and the Antonians have had no answers whenever the Peterite forwards are on a surge. 8 minutes to go in this game, and has St. Anthony's turned over position? Yes, they have.
Ball is out. St. Peter's this time pounds on the loose ball. Position moving within both teams. Now the try scorer Ashraf Farouk with the ball in his hand, and he goes laterally. The muddy conditions are not paving well. Now Amit Javira spots the gap, wants his support to arrive. A bit too late, but now to Rajitha Jion. He goes in the corner. Brilliant work.
Get back.
But St. Peter's loses 10 meters in that collision there. Slowly but steadily, the forwards stamping their authority on these Antonian defense. As Janut Ratnaik standing tall in that carry. Now Javir for options. He has Mantusa breaks through one and breaks through another. Still brought. That was Vishenka Silva, skipper. And now a brilliant move by the Peterite forwards. Pereira. And hands as Jamal takes a quick tap. Now St. Peter's just outside, and he goes over for the Amana Bank try. And that's Amit Javira. Oh, wait for the confirmation. That's we'll wait for a confirmation from the try scorer, but St. Peter's scores the bonus point try. And Antonians has a long way to go if they want to come back, as Leon adds the 2 points.
Well, that should be game done and dusted for St. Peter's. And Antonians had their opportunities in the second half, but they've let it go in vain.
Number 12. Number 12.
Well, Nilhan, it is time for us to choose our Swiss stick player of the match. And there were quite a few contenders, especially in that Pete Wright forwards. But Vishenka Silva, the St. Peter's skipper, stood out as the best player on the field with 2 tries. I believe that you would agree with me as well.
Number 3, number 3, number 8, number 3, number 8.
So the Swistek perfect player of the match goes to the Pete Wright skipper Vishenka Silva.
Sorry, number 7, number 7.
And,
Number 7.
credit should also go to the forwards, especially Shenuka Pereira,
Peters, number 11.
Chantu Ratnayak and Ashaf Farooq. But
Peters, number
Vishenka,
11. 7 off.
when that is needed, when the time requires to stand up tall, he has made his team get those points when they needed it. 24 points to
Time
8.
off. Time on.
Spirited performance this is from the Antonians, but for the second week in a row they will end up on the losing side with just 4 minutes to go in the game. And St. Peter's have shown why they are the defending champions when it mattered the most. Whenever St. Anthony's found a way to score, St. Peter's have been quick to respond. As the Antonians will now look to get that losing bonus point. They will look to score at least another 2 tries, narrow the gap by 7 points, get those losing bonus points. Won't be easy with just 3 minutes to go in the game. Here's Ekanayaka with the line out throw. Goes deep with his throw and knocks it forward, the Antonians. This has been the story throughout the day for the Antonians. Whenever they had good possession with them, they have knocked it forward or they have conceded a cheap penalty.
Yeah, that has been the case throughout this game. Antonians, when they needed it the most, unfortunately, not getting it on. And news from Ratmalana is that Mahanam is leading 15 points to 5 against Dharmaraj. And Trinity thumping with that the moment, 60 points to 14. And Zaira 14 points, and St. Thomas leading it by 14. They have 28 on the board. Now St. Anthony's with the replacements players coming in, trying to make another final move at this Pete Wright outfit. Changes the direction and spots the gap is Randira Pereira. But St. Peter's tried to win that ball, unfortunately losing his ground. Now Lianage putting a long pass, forward pass, says referee Adavara.
Early push.
Now scrum in favor of the Pete Wrights.
Coach! Point! Set!
Now Jamal into Amit Jayavira to Vishenka Silva. Try to spark something as Senuddin Sara in the corner. He tries to run around the Antonian Johan Gunawardana there. But unfortunately, finding touch.
Will be a line out through for the Antonians in these dying minutes of the game. Is there one last surge left in the Antonians to get a consolation try here? Looks like the losing bonus point is also well ahead of them, as Avan Ekanayaka with possibly the final line out throw of the game. St. Peter's have put on a stunning performance here at Nittavala. Not the most easiest of conditions, and Avan yet again overcooks his line out throw, and St. Peter's with the attack. They'll be looking to get another try here in these last minutes. Here's the replacement. And he hands the ball back to the Antonians, and he has been
Number
dragged
18,
out
number
of
18.
touch.
Number 18.
The referee, Gihan Yatavara, wants to have
Captain.
a word.
So there was a advantage number 18.
For the captain. Right.
Okay, Sampath.
මෙයා අතන ටැකල් එකේදී හයි ටැකල් එක ස්ලිප් වෙලා උඩට ආවත් right ඊට පස්සේ මෙයා එයාට නැගිටලෙද්දී එයාගේ බෙල්ලේ අත තියලා උඩට උස්සලා තමයි එන්නේ right unwanted මෙයා ඉස්සෙල්ලත් ඔය වගේම දෙයක් කරා
And he goes into the bin. Okay, Sampath, foul play. Bit high on that tackle. The second time he has done the same thing. Now Vishenka Silva opts to go for touch, but does not find it this time around.
touch
The ball is touched, so everyone is on side. St. Peter's Vishenka Silva tries to make a run from the 22-meter. Time almost up in our clock. Last few seconds on referee Atavara's clock.
වැටෙන්න එපා
St. Peter's playing that patient game. This forwards put on a brilliant show, has done all the hard work throughout this game. Still continues to pile on. St. Peter's will be happy that they go home with a bonus point and the Richter's trophy. Good passage of play by Jamal Wahab, shows and goes. Now has his forwards, takes the ball back. Now the Peterites up for options as Sithila Nimsar. Revon Pereira, Shenuku Pereira there. Now Jamal goes for the shorter side with Emid Jaivira, with Nidushan Mantusha there. Still going strong is Hasar Madugaske. Now to Revon, makes that turn and gains meters ahead. Jamal goes to his forwards now. Sends the ball to Senuddin Sara to Vishenka Silva. Vishenka Silva tries to go on his own. Tackle as St. Peter's move forward. And now Shenuka Pereira from the truck taking the ball in. He has been a big ball carrier for the Peterites.
hands on the ground please release
Janitha Ratnayaka now to try score. Ashas Farooq barges to that Antonian defender now. Peterite forwards quickly playing, and a penalty. Jamal takes a quick tap and shows and goes on his own, few meters away from the try line. It's accidental offside is the call. Too weak at the Peterites.
Could have been a fitting end to the game. It has been the Peterite forwards who have done most of the work for St. Peter's in this game, and they could have gone over to score another try. And St. Anthony's now have a scrum just in front of that
final play
whitewash.
So referee Atavara says that this will be the final play.
set
St. Anthony's with the push and ball goes out. They try to run from their own half, but puts the kick in. Now Vishenka Silva, one last opportunity to score a hat-trick. He goes through one and barges through and goes into contact. So that will be it. St. Peter's College retains the Rector's Trophy for the 15th year in a row, winning it in 2010 and keeping it another year in Bambalapitiya.
statement win for the Pete Wrights in the second week of the Dialogue Schools Rugby League, winning the Rector's Trophy for yet another year, and also adding much important points to that points table, a bonus point victory away from home. This was a much closer game than the scorelines suggest. The Pete Wrights were put into test, but they have found a way to get out of the challenges that were put in front of them. And St. Peter's beat St. Anthony's 24 points to 8. And St. Anthony's have been defeated for a second week in a row here at their own home den.
St. Peter's takes home the bonus point victory. They will have Science College coming down to Bambalapitiya. And crucial game as they win 2 in a row, and St. Anthony's unfortunately going down. Full-time confirmation. St. Anthony's 8, St. Peter's 24 as they take home the Rector's Trophy back to Bambalapitiya. And after that little scare against Anand, I think the Pete Wrights have bounced back brilliantly and back in business as usual with this victory over the Antonians. It's brilliant work from the forwards, especially for the Pete Wrights to put on all the pressure, supported by the backs as we see the second half highlights coming in. It was again the Antonians who opened the scoring. They played the first 15 minutes brilliantly, putting on the pressure on the Pete Wrights and making some progress, but no points on offer for them in the early stages. Dominated 15 minutes, but nothing to show on the scoreboard. St. Anthony's then added 3 points from the foot of Karpal Akmina. They started the first half by scoring. Same happened, but then again St. Peter's came back strong with Vishenka Silva scoring the early try. Then St. Peter's came back with a try on his own and scoring under the post and converting it also. Then the Pete Wrights wanted to add more points on the board, but unfortunately the last move, Vishenka Silva just a few meters away going into touch, couldn't add that extra try for the Pete Wrights. Key sets St. Anthony's 8, 1 try and 1 penalty. For Pete Wrights scoring that all-important 4 tries, taking the bonus point home, and 2 conversions will take that tally to 24. And Swiss Tech perfect player of the match, Vishenka Silva of St. Peter's College, clinching that perfect player of the match title in this game. And with that victory, St. Peter's gets another 6 points to the points tally, winning 2 games and winning them with bonus points. So they will face Science College in the next game next Saturday at Bambalapitiya. And we had 7 games today and 2 more happening tomorrow. The biggie at Bogambara Kingswood, who played 2 games, lost very narrowly for Royal College, and last week against St. Thomas's, hosts the Dialogue Schools knockout champions Isipadana College. That's happening tomorrow at 3:45. And then another important game in Group A. DSA and Nayak also being the game they played this last week against St. Anthony's, and Wesley also coming up with a victory. So that will be a crucial game happening tomorrow. That's at CRNFC. So 2 games coming up in the Dialogue Schools Rugby League 2025. So with the Rector's Trophy going back to where it came from, Bambalapitiya, for another year, we conclude our production from Nithavala. For myself and Kevin Dhananjan and the technical and production team, we bid goodbye and good night everyone, and stay tuned for the games happening tomorrow.